All right, welcome to the introduction of basic rhythms. Now, the types of rhythms we will be exploring today are just the most basic structure of how to put notes and beats together. In this case, we're going to talk about the whole note, the half note, the quarter note, the quarter rest, and the eighth note, or in this case, a pair of eighth notes. Now, each one of these fits in time to certain things in music. In this case, we're going to talk about the idea of staying in 4/4, which means we're going to have 4 beats to every measure. And each one of these things will fit in a certain way to these 4 beats in order to make a measure of music. And so let's get started. First thing is talking about quarter notes and quarter rests. Now again, each of these boxes here represents 1 beat. Okay, so if you were keeping the beat, it would just be 4 straight steady beats. Now the simplest version of this is going to be using quarter notes. So we're going to put 4 quarter notes into the 4 boxes to give us our 4 beats. Now here's our tempo. Remember, tempo is keeping a steady beat, and if we were going to count this, we would just have 1, 2, 3, 4. So very simple, steady beat. Each beat is our first beat, second beat, third beat, fourth beat. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it for yourself. Go. All right, very nice. All right, so let us then talk about the rest. Now, rest, right here, is a silence. And silence in music is just as important as sound. It's what makes it very interesting. So let's talk about doing a combination of the two. We're going to mix these up. Now, in this case, we're going to have, again, 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. But when we get to the rest, we're not going to say anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do this. We're not actually going to say anything. So this is an example. Here's our steady tempo. It goes 1, 3, or you can go ta, ta. Either way works. You can either use a number or the word ta to count. So like for the first one you would have ta, 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 ta. The second one would be ta, ta. And these can come in many, many varieties, however you want to mix them together. So let's switch these around so we can try a different work of them. Okay, so let's look at this one. We still have 1, 2, 3, and 4. But this time we're not going to say 1 or 3. So here's our steady beat. So it sounds like this. 2, 4. Here it is again. 2, 4. Or if you want to use ta, ta, ta. Both of those are acceptable. So now we're going to look at whole notes and half notes. Now, whole notes and half notes basically are extended versions of the quarter note. In this case, we're going to start with our whole note. Now, our whole note, as you can tell, covers all 4 beats. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 like we had with the quarter notes, this time what we're going to do is we're going to just hold whatever the note is out. So in this case, 1. Now remember, this takes the place of 2, this takes the place of 3, this takes the place of 4. But you're just holding it out. So it kind of says 1. 4 long beats. In contrast to that, a half note, as the name may imply, is half that length. So each one of the half notes is 2 beats long. We'll put our numbers up, 1, 2, 3, 4. But because we are holding out the half note, our 2 and our 4 go away, and we just hold them out. Remember, they take the place of 2, they take the place of 4, they don't just leave. So in this case, we have 1, 3, and we just hold it out. 1, 3. Holding those out. Now we can all mix all of these different things together. So I'm going to do one more variation, which is a quarter note, a half note, and another quarter note. So we can see how this works with some of these quarter notes. So here's our beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we take out beat 3 because we are holding over the half note. Make that a line, where it takes the place of 3. Now what we have is, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 4. We're holding out that second one. 1, 2, 4. Again, there are many combinations of this. I'm going to switch one last thing. I'm going to take this one out, and I'm going to replace it with a rest. Now with our rests, remember we talked about we don't say anything. So I'm going to put those parentheses right, so just to let you know it's there. And this last one we're going to have 1, 2, again, 1, 2. So there's no sound when you get to that last one. All right. So that is whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and quarter rests. These are the basic building blocks of music. What we're going to talk about now is the eighth note, which is half the length of a normal note. So I've color-coded it in a certain way. This first box, you can see these boxes have extra lines in them. Okay, I've divided each box in half so that we can see where the half of the beat is. I've also color-coded it so we can see a little bit easier where the first one is and where the second one is. And you notice, here's the idea, here's the quarter note. See, the quarter note takes up the whole bar, or the whole box. Eighth notes, you have to have 2 to make the box. Now when we do this, we have a certain way of saying it and writing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our main beats in, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in order to count the other notes of the eighth note, we use and. And I'm going to show, this is a shorthand version of and. It's just a little plus like this. So when you count this, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so looking at the notes, goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're matching up those together. Like any of the other ones we've learned, we can combine these any way we would like. So we'll start with something simple. So in this one, we have, here's our 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we have a set of eighth notes, so we do an and when we tap it, or clap it, or say it, we go 1, 2, and 3, 4. Do it again, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So you can see how those all go together. Okay, and again, let's try a different one with a few more eighth notes to try this out. Let's try this one. Mark out our rhythms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a couple of ands. One here, and one here. So now when we tap this out, we're going to get 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. You can see how those all get put together. Now again, you can put rests or half notes or anything, any combination of notes you've seen so far can go into this. So what I'm going to show you, these are the notes we've learned so far. Whole note, there's only one version of it. Okay. Half notes, there are actually 3 versions. Quarter notes, you can put it anywhere. Quarter rest, you can put it anywhere. And eighth notes, you can put anywhere. So I hope this has helped you to be able to figure out your rhythms.